From ancient times, kingdoms and people have devised means of running societies and the provision of public goods. This is often derived through levies and tributum, what is known today as taxation. A global practice now. History documents that taxation can be traced to ancient Greece, extending to other powerful empires of the past in a bid to run government while ensuring trade relations. Remember the Silk Road in ancient and medieval China. It was the gateway connecting Asia to Central Europe and had for centuries earned huge revenues from taxes to finance wars and strengthen the Chinese dynasty. In contemporary times, taxation has become a powerful tool for closing domestic financing gap. It aids the promotion and growth of businesses. Now we talks about tax reforms ongoing. This edition of the program hopes to educate about taxation from historical knowledge to bring clarity to the subsisting practice and give light to the necessity for reforms. I am Omotala Omojola. This is Dateline 360. Thanks for tuning in. Experts contend that taxation, a practice as old as human civilization itself, is essential for the survival and growth of any political system. We begin from Sokoto, where Usman Muhammad Benji explores the history of taxation in Nigeria. He analyzes its significance during both the pre-colonial and post-colonial eras and the lasting contribution to the nation's development.
Taxation is a process by which governments collect financial contributions from individuals, businesses, and corporations to fund public services and infrastructure. In both pre-colonial and post-colonial Nigeria, various kingdoms and empires impose taxes to support administrative functions and provide essential services to their subjects. Notable among these entities were the Sokoto Caliphate, the Oyo Empire, the Basel State of Dahomey, the Benin Kingdom, the Kanem Borno Empire, and the Jukun Kingdom in northeastern Nigeria. The taxation systems employed by these polities played a pivotal role in consolidating power and fostering unity among their people.
Tax system can be used actually to change the behavior of the citizens, to change the behavior of the consumers. The more tax is charged on such commodities, the lesser will be the consumption of those commodities, and that will lead to the attitudinal change.
Taxes form the backbone of governance, whether in ancient kingdoms, empires, or modern nation states. The advantages of taxation include promoting unity between the ruling class and citizens, reducing socioeconomic inequalities, ensuring security and welfare, and providing a critical revenue source for governmental functions. During the colonial era, taxation systems were formalized to sustain the colonial economy. The colonial administrations introduced taxes on cash crops, land rents, and duties on merchandise, all aimed at generating revenue for the colonial powers.
If taxation becomes the main source of revenue for government, the government will actually be on its own toes, meaning that people will be concerned about what they paid to government, how is that amount of money they paid to the government used for their own sake.
In modern times, tax systems are more sophisticated, with government utilizing professional, progressive, and regressive tax structures to collect revenues. Economies that effectively liberate taxation generally experience greater growth and development, while those reliant on oil and gas revenues often face challenges such as governance issues, corruption, and inefficiency.
Actually, complying with tax is a sign of a good citizen, and refusing to pay tax is an illegality. Avoiding payment of taxes or evading taxes is a criminal offense world over, including Nigeria.
Governments must remain vigilant in addressing the needs of their citizens, ensuring transparency and accountability in the management of public funds. Taxation is not a mere tool of generating revenue, but it also plays a key role in ensuring and fostering efficiency and equity, as well as sustainability in democratic societies. For Dateline 360, I'm Usman Muhammad Benji, reporting.
History, like experience, is a teacher, as it is often said. Using the Oyo Empire, Yemisi Ajagun from Ibadan examines Nigeria's taxation system in the past and links it to contemporary times.
Taxation refers to compulsory payment of money to support the government and its activities. Taxes are used to fund public goods and services such as infrastructure, education, healthcare, and national defense. In pre-colonial Nigeria, various kingdoms and empires had their own systems of taxation. These systems were often based on traditional practices and were used to support the rulers and their administrations. Some of the known forms of taxation adopted by kingdoms in pre-colonial Nigeria include tributes, custom duties, land taxes, and head taxes. In Ibadan, the capital of the Oyo Empire, taxes were collected by the empire's official and were used to fund various public goods and services. Taxation, however, played a crucial role in the running of Old Oyo Empire and its capital, Ibadan. Taxation in pre-colonial era helped to connect the ruling class and the populace by providing a shared sense of responsibility and ownership.
It is a source of government revenue generation. The government will use this revenue to carry out its responsibilities in the area of provision of social services like healthcare services, like education, like infrastructure, and the rest of them. Taxation can be used to attract foreign investors into our economy or to encourage local investors to focus their attention on a particular sector of the economy that is lagging behind. Government does that by introducing what we call tax holidays.
If not direct, government will have more this time around, and movement governments have more, they will be able to please the people. Governments have more money to spend, more funds to allocate and to implement the budget, and to satisfy the yearnings of the populace. The infrastructural facilities shall be provided to the people.
Despite the benefits of taxation, there were also challenges and resistance to taxation in pre-colonial days. Some of the challenges are said to be unevenly distribution of levy among individuals and groups. Taxes were often resisted and rebelled against, particularly when they were seen as unfair and oppressive. Despite all the challenges, taxation has played a significant role in the development of the country. In Ibadan, Yemisi Ajagun for Dateline 360.
A method for digital literacy is a bot that you can use, you can interact to learn more about digital literacy.
Hello, it's our pleasure to have you join us on platform. I'm Ruth Aguwele.
What is the yardstick for measuring everybody's moral integrity? It's critical at this point in time.
How daunting has that been for the Institute in getting them abreast with all the legislative procedures?
The fact remains that one training workshop is not enough.
Now to present-day issues. If Nigerians genuinely seek economic growth and financial stability, experts suggest the need to recognize taxation as a necessity and not a choice. Bosede Abel Amosu reports that Nigeria's tax system has long been riddled with gross inadequacies, leakages, and a glaring lack of equity in income distribution with tax burden. This is the reason the present administration, she affirms, is working to create a more efficient, transparent, and equal tax system to improve tax compliance and block revenue leakages through various reforms for economic development. The report.
Taxation is like the unsung hero of economic development. that provides government with revenue needed to fund public goods and services that get to benefit everyone. Tax helps build and maintain roads, bridges, airports, and seaports that facilitate trade, commerce, and travel. Taxes also fund schools, universities, and other educational institutions that equip citizens with the skills and knowledge they need to succeed. Healthcare, defense, social welfare are not left out of the benefits of taxes. To ensure the continuous flow of revenue for more of the public good, Nigeria's government administers tax at federal, state, and local government levels, each with its specific jurisdiction. From tax on an individual's income to tax on a company's profits and tax on the value added to goods and services. Others are tax deducted at source from income and tax on petroleum profits. This is in addition to tax for funding education, tax on gains from the sales of assets, and stamp duties, which is tax on documents and transactions. Now, what is the level of compliance?
The government will gain more when they tax luxury goods.
If we can see the benefit of that tax, we don't mind paying.
All that small tax that they are collecting from our hand before we loot, we have to pay tax and they have to collect. If they can, government can help us to do that one, to reduce that one for us.
And we must make sure that these taxes are used for development and for the benefit of Nigerian people, not for some people to corner it and be stealing it.
But not just taxation, but linking tax to services, public service delivery.
To achieving the ongoing tax reforms, the Committee on Tax Reforms set up by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is working to enhance revenue collection efficiency and ensure transparent reporting. To this end, 4 executive orders have been signed, and the 5% excise tax on telecommunication services and excise duties escalation on locally manufactured vehicles have been suspended. In addition, the passage of the new tax bills have reached advanced stage.
The laws that we have proposed before the National Assembly are very simple to operate, very simple. You can sit down and determine what is your own tax at all. And if somebody wants to cheat you, you can say, no, I can compute it by myself. These are some of the immense benefits that we have there, apart from the fact that we are also promoting ease of doing business. And that is why we are condensing all the different taxes into very few ones. Currently, we have, according to surveys, we have over 60, 70 different types of taxes across Nigeria. Now, what this law has proposed is to reduce that to less than 10, and which I also believe is going to help to promote businesses. You can move goods and services from one place to another without any hindrance or fear of overtaxation.
So we are trying to increase tax revenue without increasing the tax burden on anyone. The poorest people will find significant reduction in their tax burden. Middle class, a little bit less reduction. Even the upper class and companies, large and small, we see a reduction in their tax burden.
In our strategic roadmap, that will focus more on training, using of technology, and have conducive environment. So when we have this, blocking of leakages comes from having implementable laws. Because why you see people going away with our revenue is because there are lapses in the law. And in the wisdom of Mr. President, we send a bill to National Assembly. Hopefully, the bill will be passed this quarter. So it is our strategy to block all identified loopholes and the use of technology. They should expect better service, like we've said, and we've seen that trajectory from us, that we are service provider. Taxpayer are our customer, so we provide service to them. We collect money from them. So Mr. President's mind, our decision, is to make sure that the taxpayer have conducive environment to do their business, because it is when they are prosperous that we will also have something to do. Don't forget, Mr. President's mantra is that he will not tax poverty, it's only prosperity. We focus on income, not your own investment.
So far, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has set its revenue target for the year 2025 at 25.2 trillion naira, after surpassing 19.4 trillion naira to 21.6 trillion naira in the year 2024. The federal government believes this will determine the implementation plan for the next few months that would enable the delivery of critical infrastructure, social services, and opportunities that will transform the nation's economy. For Dateline 360, Bosade Abel Amosu.
The saying "no taxation without representation" well suits the legislative consideration of the tax reform bills at the moment. 4 months after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted the 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly, they have gained substantial momentum both within the legislature and in public discourse. In this report, Ignatius Nkwo examines the core objectives of these executive bills, public reactions, and their legislative progression.
Nigeria's tax system has undergone substantial transformations since its independence, molded by colonial legacies, fluctuating economies, and various reform initiatives. Yet, persistent challenges such as weak enforcement, tax evasion, revenue leakages, overlapping levies, the use of outdated manual system for tax administration continue to hamper progress. The journey began with the Income Tax Management Act of 1961, followed by the introduction of value-added tax in 1993. However, poor administration and over-reliance on oil revenues stifled the impact of these measures. From the year 2000, the call for harmonized tax laws grew louder, aimed at boosting revenue and attracting investment.
A number of laws have, and many more are being, looked into, all with a view to bring the worrisome aspects, areas of concern for address.
Fast forward to 2023, when the federal government unveiled 4 groundbreaking tax reform bills. The Joint Revenue Board Bill seeks to establish a board, a tax appeal tribunal, and the Office of the Tax Ombudsman to harmonize and settle disputes arising from revenue administration in Nigeria. The Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill will unify tax agencies and curb revenue leakages, while the Nigeria Tax Administration Bill proposes to introduce technology into the administration and operation of taxation. The Nigeria Tax Bill is set to modernize tax administration and improve compliance.
For far too long, our tax system has been riddled with inefficiencies.
A major feature of the Nigerian Tax Bill is the phased VAT increase, which will rise from the present 7.5% to 10% by 2025 and up to 15% by 2030.
Where these products are consumed and where these consumable items are produced, that is the main crux of the matter. And therefore, a lot of people felt there's no justice, because those who consume are actually the ones who are supposed to have more say, who are supposed to have more percentage in terms of valuable things.
These bills received serious criticisms until the Nigerian Governors Forum and the National Assembly made consultations and took a position.
The president conceded some of his position, and we equally conceded some of our position and reached a stage of equilibrium.
Essential items like food, medical supplies, electricity, and transportation will remain VAT-free. This approach is expected to ease the financial burden on low-income earners. The bill also proposes replacing the Federal Inland Revenue Service with the Nigerian Revenue Service, a unified body that will oversee all national taxes, including royalties and import duties. Individuals earning 800,000 or less annually will be exempted from income tax, offering relief to millions. The 4 bills having gone past second reading in both chambers of the National Assembly, the Committees on Finance convened public hearings where stakeholders agreed on the need for the reforms but organizations like the Nigeria Customs Service, Academic Staff Union of Universities, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Supreme Council for Sharia, and others argued on specific clauses, including the introduction of tax agents, increase in VAT, provisions on inheritance, and the gradual phase-out of third fund.
Should encourage collaboration, integration of operations between customs and the tax authority.
Issue of tax agent was raised. It may have impact on the charter of the institute.
In the bill, supply or supplies throughout the bill should be replaced with consumption and consumptions.
Nobody will come from anywhere to come and develop Nigeria. We need to have economic policy that encourage local development.
The Nigeria tax bill proposes that in 2025 and 2026, third fund will receive 50% of development levies, 66% in 2027 and 2029, and will cease to receive further funding by 2030. In 2025 and 2026, NITDA will receive 20% and will not receive any further funding from 2027, while NASENI will receive 5% in 2025 and 2026 and will not receive any further funding from 2027. NELFund is to receive 25% in 2025 and 2026, 33% in 2027 and 2029. By 2030, NELFund will receive 100% of all the development levies.
Only organization of funding that research today in the Nigerian system is the third fund.
The regional coloration that greeted the introduction of these bills appears to be evaporating. The National Assembly believes that once passed, these bills will significantly promote both local and foreign investment.
By streamlining tax laws, improving administration, and enhancing revenue collection.
We shall do it with the fear of God, and we are going to give Nigeria the desired law, legislation that will guide our tax collection.
While this reform promises to improve revenue collection, create wealth, and encourage compliance, public trust remains key for its effectiveness. And it is this legitimacy that the National Assembly is trying to garner for these bills. Ignatius Nkwo for Dateline 360.
That's Dateline 360 for today. We hope you have been adequately educated on the necessity for reforms in the taxation system of the country and the expected end. Don't forget to join us next time for another interesting issue. I am Omotola Omojola, and on behalf of the production crew, I say thank you for your time. God bless Nigeria.